everybody. I hope you're having a phenomenal night. So I'm really excited because I'm here with Raj Keto Coach Patel. And I'm excited because we're going to interview him, or I'm going to interview him for you. And a couple weeks ago, I asked people for FAQ questions that in regards to keto, low carb, just stuff that I'm not an expert at, but I would love for Raj to come on. So Raj is a dad. He's a husband. He has been on this keto journey himself, I think 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years.
Awesome. And then you've been coaching people for years and years. So what I want you to do, Raj, is just give us an introduction of who you are and how you've got to where you are today. And then I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions.
All right. This is awesome. Thanks for having me, first of all. So I'm glad I get to talk to yourself and everybody in your audience that you influence. So yeah, my name is Raj. I've been on this ketogenic journey for over 7 years now. But it started from a personal, something personal that I wanted to start losing weight, being healthier. I was always going to the gym, thought I was doing the right thing, but the weight wasn't coming off, and more importantly, I didn't feel like I was getting healthier. Right. And so I learned about the ketogenic diet, and I was going online, and there's tons and tons of information. And after a few years of summarizing all this information, I found an easy way for it to work for me. And then within 1 year, a year and a half, I believe, I went from 240 pounds and a 44-inch waist down to 176 pounds and a 31-inch waist. And 7 years later, I am still the same, and I feel great. And over that time, I've helped 4,000 people also adopt a ketogenic lifestyle for various reasons. And it's been great. It's been a great journey for me personally, and helping all these people and just helping educate about this amazing way of eating.
I love that. So Raj and I met online, really when I started this Keto Mom page, and then I Googled keto and I found Raj. And so we've been chatting back and forth. We've been collaborating for almost 3 years, 2.5 years. And he's helped me on our family's keto, low carb journey, and has answered questions all the time. And so we just go back and forth. And so Raj, the first question I have for you that everybody usually brings up at some point, and I'm sure you get this, is, and we're going to talk about Raj as well, because he also has my Keto Coach. And so he has different things that he can help people on their own journey. So like a recipe, you've got recipes and you've got an entire keto plan, correct?
Yeah, a keto diet book that you can download.
So that's going to be, if you look in the comments, we're going to put that information below, and then we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Raj, I'm sure you get this, but explain keto versus low carb versus, I have people that go, is it the Atkins diet? What are ketones? Or my favorite thing is, I'm sorry, you can't eat pepperonis, like you're on the keto diet. So like there's such a broad spectrum of what keto even is. Don't you feel like now, especially during this like buzzword of keto? So can you give us an example of kind of what you would define as keto or low carb?
Yeah. And I was in the exact same position before when I was stepping into this realm of keto. There's just so much mixed information out there and everybody's interpretation. And I finally think I believe I found the right information that I've been sharing, because it's been helping so many people. So what keto is a diet that's high fat, moderate protein, and low carb. Now, if you were to compare it to example Atkins is very high protein, and it's low carb, and it pretty much is protein and low carb. That's really what it is.
Right.
It's not really focusing on fat. And low carb is usually low carb and low calorie. People usually fall into that trap. So that's why they're very different. So a lot of people actually combine, think Atkins is keto. I get that one a lot. And they're very different in the sense that it's not high protein. So you're not eating, steaks all day long. People have a big misconception that it's all protein all the time. And it's not. It's high healthy fats. And you're still eating veggies. Like you're eating avocados and broccoli and spinach and all these great things, along with eggs and bacon and, grass-fed butter and full-fat beef, ground beef. Yep. It's a mix of things, but it's not an overabundance of protein, that's for sure.
Right. So if you eat keto, or if you're eating, so where you're tracking your food, and we're going to talk about like one of your favorite trackers, your body will produce ketones, correct? So ketones are a fuel source, and you have to eat pretty strict keto to get there, correct?
Yeah, so ketones only get developed in your system once you deplete your glycogen, which means just when you start dropping your carb intake, and your body uses all the carbs up, it has to start breaking down fat for fuel. There's only two fuel sources, carbs and fat. and your brain runs mainly on ketones, on fat, so it loves that. So once you deplete the carbs, your body starts breaking down fat, and that's how ketones start developing in your body. But you do have to, it's harder because you do have to get to that lower carb rate and stay there for it to be gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can you explain to people, because I'm going to talk about something that we're going to talk about this later. We're going to talk about lifestyle. I'm going to talk about a product that I use, but I want to walk people through just the questions of, like, you help people for years get into strict nutritional ketosis without using a product. And so questions, things like, can you have dairy? Can you have some nuts? I get this question all the time is, why can you have processed meat? I mean, can you speak on a little bit about the foods and maybe some good fats?
Yeah. And one thing I'll mention too is that, a lot of people do mention those items, and that's why I have an ebook on my site. It's 15 ways of optimizing your keto diet, or how to break a keto stall.
Yep.
And those items you mentioned to me, people usually contact me when they're having a keto stall or when their weight loss is plateaued.
Yes.
So like too much nuts, or having too much dairy, because dairy sensitivities causes weight loss to go stagnant. And what was the other one you asked me? I forgot.
I have a lot of people that ask about bacon and processed meat.
Oh, the processed meat, yeah, because the nitrates.
So like nitrates, right? So people are like, I can't believe you're feeding your kids ham.
Yeah. So, the whole nitrates thing, nitrates is not good for you, right? At a mass amount. You would have to be eating a lot of bacon or a lot of ham in your example for it to be impacting you. But again, remember, this is not a high protein diet. So you wouldn't fall into that nitrate issue if you're following a properly planned ketogenic diet.
Okay, so a properly planned ketogenic diet, what are some good healthy fats people could eat?
So some good healthy fats are, a lot of people use avocados because they're full of amazing nutrients in them, along with the fat, healthy fat. Different butters. So like grass-fed butter, have you had grass-fed butter?
We only eat Kerrygold butter.
Okay, so Kerrygold, so I'm from Canada. So Kerrygold is not available here.
Okay.
And so we have other brands of grass-fed. But grass-fed is the best butter. So if anybody's watching this, you haven't tried grass-fed, it's like the butter that's on popcorn, but it's healthy. Like, it tastes so good.
It is so good.
It's so good. So grass-fed butter. How about oils? Like, there's avocado oil and peanut oil is good too. Like, I fry in peanut oil just because it's a healthier peanut to fry in, oil to fry in. So, and even meats. When you choose meats and there's the fat in there, use like full fat ground beef. I use grass-fed ground beef. You don't have to, but it's the healthier choice. Mm-hmm. So don't eat lean meats because, again, the protein is going to get too high. We want higher fat content.
Oh, that's good. So I talk a lot on this page about good, better, best, because I feel like, and you will see, like, and you've experienced as people on a journey, right? So people try to go from eating like McDonald's into a strict keto diet and they get frustrated, right? Or if they're like, sometimes people will be watching and if they're not getting it right on point, they'll give up or they get frustrated. So like a tracker, is there a way that you track food? So what I'm saying is good, better, best. I tell people there's good. It might be the meat that has nitrates in it, right? It might be, I don't even know. Your meal might be homemade, but it might not be perfectly organic. Then there's better, and then there's best, where everything is homemade, everything is grown in your backyard. But I feel like you can still have a great success, whether it's fat loss, whatever your goal is, with the good options. Would you agree?
You totally can. And some things aren't available. Like even grass-fed butter here in Canada is hard to find. Okay. And when you find it, it's super expensive, right? Kerrygold in the US is really cheap compared to here. But yeah, you can, and you can still be as successful. But again, if you do have the option, you're right. The good, better, best scenario, yep. You can choose your path.
Right. Okay. So where would you tell people to track their food? Like, do you have like a favorite tracker online if they choose to do so?
Yeah, if you choose to start monitoring everything. I use fatsecret.com. It's great.
Oh, Fat Secret. Okay.
Yeah, MyFitnessPal is great too. That's a really popular one.
Yeah.
Both of those are great because it'll, at the bottom of where you type everything in, at the bottom there's a little pie chart and it instantly gives you your macro breakdown.
Okay.
And with keto, you want to be 80% fat, 15% protein, and 5% carbs. Right. And in that little pie chart, you'll see it in a snapshot. So it's really easy to use.
Okay. I love that. Okay. So I get this question a lot. Walk us through the difference between net carbs and total carbs, and which one do you do to get into ketosis if you're doing strict keto without the product?
So I tell, so I'll answer the question first. So so total carbs, when you're reading an ingredients label, I don't have one here, but an ingredients label, it'll have the carb listing, and it'll give you a number. Let's say it's 10. Okay. I'll say 10 grams of carbs in it. Now below that, it'll say dietary fiber.
Yep.
So if that's a dietary fiber of 5, that product now has 5 net carbs in it. You take the fiber, you subtract it from the total number, because carbs from fiber do not impact your blood insulin.
Okay. So that's my question. People go, I don't understand net carbs. So the fiber or the sugar alcohols is what I'm understanding, right? Because you can subtract that, won't spike your insulin, correct?
That's correct. And that's why you care. Like, that's why you want to look at the net carbs.
Okay.
Now, like in some cases, people use that in a way to bump up their carbs. So I wouldn't use it in that methodology, but if you're concerned about what you're eating, you can at least look at it and say, hey, this has only this net carbs in it.
Okay. Completely understand. That was great. How about electrolytes? So if you're doing the strict keto diet, you might go through something called the keto flu. If you want to just kind of touch base of what the keto flu might look like, and then what are some examples of electrolytes and why would you need them?
Yeah. So keto flu happens, when you start a ketogenic diet, and keto flu is the point where your body's depleting all the carbs and it's slowly transitioning into becoming a fat burner. So remember, all these years you've been consuming carbs pretty much consistently or on and off, and your body's used to that as a primary fuel source. Now you're saying, hey, I want to start using my body fat all the time. And it's, it's a shift for your body, but it's a natural state. So you're just going back to your natural state.
Yeah.
But you'll feel kind of groggy. You might feel sick a little bit. Okay. But that's keto flu. So electrolytes really help with that. And electrolytes is potassium, magnesium, and even like Himalayan salt. Okay. That combination, super simple, lots of water. And you can usually overcome keto flu with that those simple items.
Would you say, would you say that getting into ketosis nutritionally is easy? Like, what is it like from all of the people that you've helped over the years? Do you feel like they go in and out? Is it like, I know my husband's story, I share it, like it took him, and Steve, it took him weeks to get his body to a state where he was really burning stored fat as fuel. Like, what is your experience in getting people into ketosis? So
I have a lot of people that contact me just out of the blue because they're following their own ketogenic diet. Yep. Which is really not a keto diet because they've made it up and it's like way off. So is it easy to get in ketosis? No, it's not. And it's mainly not because people are not either following the right plan or the right way of eating, right? Or they're overdoing it, or they're not doing it consistently long enough.
Yeah.
They give up too soon. They give up right when you're about to get into ketosis, which is the funniest part.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that's mainly what it is.
So would you say, that's great. So would you say, like, if somebody's in ketosis and they're giving up super easy, right? How would you measure it? Because we can talk about let's talk about the pee strips, the breathalyzer, the blood meter. What's the best way to measure your ketones if you're trying to measure to see if you're in ketosis?
So the best way is blood. I talk about it in my book. I even have it on my site on myketocoach.com.
Where's your site?
myketocoach.com.
myketocoach.com. Okay.
So the blood is accurate because there's nothing that impacts it, unlike the urine strip. So the urine strip is easy because you just pee on the urine strip.
Right.
The problem is if you drink a lot of water, which we all should be drinking lots of water, you'll have a diluted reading. So the reading will be weak, so you may think you're not in ketosis or a very light reading ketosis.
Or I just had a lady that was super, super, super dark. And it was like a day, but I don't think she was drinking water.
Exactly. This is a high concentration.
Low, and then she had no water, and I was like, are you drinking any water? She's like, not really.
No, but I'm in ketosis. No, but you're not. So, it's because it's concentration. Now, when you look at the blood, it doesn't matter how much water you're drinking. That blood reading stays the same. It's true. It's consistently true. Okay. So you have less. You're getting the best reading you can. Okay,
I love that. So let's talk about fasting. People love to know, do you intermittent fast? What does the intermittent fasting look like? I don't. Like, we're going to talk about something called a reboot, which is a 60-hour fast, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And I made it through this, but I rarely intermittent fast because I love to eat eggs and bacon. You tell me what you do in the mornings.
I love the reboot. That thing is the best product that has come out in, I don't know, since forever. But do I fast? Yes, I do intermittent fasting. I do 18-hour fast, so I only eat one meal a day. I know my wife just thinks I'm crazy, but I've been doing it for a while, and I feel fantastic.
Okay, maybe you should just do this. Walk us through what a day looks like in Raj's world.
Okay, so when I wake up, I wake up and I'll I'll drink water, whatever. I have my vitamins. I'll drink a Keto OS Max.
Yep.
I hit the gym at 8 o'clock, and then at 9 o'clock, 9:30, I'm home, and that's when I eat my meal. It's my single meal. It's a large breakfast, a keto breakfast. So it has eggs, has bacon, has coconut oil, has avocados, spinach, broccoli.
Sounds great.
And that's a little bit of sugar-free ketchup on the side, and I don't know if it said bacon, but bacon as well. So and then what I'll do is around 2-3 o'clock, I'll have either another Keto S Max, usually raspberry lemonade, or a keto cream and a coffee.
Okay, so this would be, so like some people intermittent fast in the morning, so it doesn't matter the time is what you're saying, but it's a certain, so you're getting your good fats in. This would be like people doing their fat coffee in the morning, but you're doing it in the afternoon. Yeah,
and I'll explain why. So that around 3-4, I'll have that, and then remember, I don't eat nothing, right? And I'm drinking lots of water in the day. I put a little bit of branched amino acids in my water, and then I go to sleep. And then, so next day when I hit the gym, I'm in the deepest part of my fast, right? Because that's the end of my fast. And the benefit of that is your growth hormones at the highest. You're at the peak point of your fat burning mode, and you feel great.
So this would be for athletes, because there's a lot of athletes that are like, can I run on ketones, right? And so you're super fit. And so obviously you have for years. If as a mom, I'm just going to share, like, I don't do what Raj does, but I do. I mean, I get up in the morning. Some people intermittent fast, like my husband does. He stops eating around like 8 o'clock at night, and then he doesn't eat till lunchtime. So that would be like a morning fast, correct? To where he'll drink either fat coffee or he'll drink his product, and he doesn't. So you got your good fats up, what keeps you fuller longer, correct?
That's correct.
And then he eats lunch and dinner. So I go to the gym in the morning. I take the product in the morning, and then I do eat breakfast after the gym. I eat lunch and I eat dinner. But I like it. But I'm not a snacker either. So like you said, like if you get your good fats in, like I add avocados all the time. If I am hungry, I might grab a handful of nuts. But we just eat pretty simple. And so that's worked for me. So I think that people just need to understand that it's not like a black and white. There's lots of different ways that you can do it to get either into ketosis, right? Whether it's even nutritionally or with a product. So let's talk about really quick. So we talked about a lot of stuff. A lot of people had questions about a plateau, but that's where you would bring in like looking at your dairy, nuts, things like that.
So if anybody who's watching has a plateau, doesn't matter really if it's keto or low carb. We're going to drop a link below to a free ebook I have, and people are loving it. It has 15 ways of breaking a keto plateau or optimizing your diet. So it's free, completely free. Just go download it and enjoy it. It's great info on that.
So you can go to myketocoach.com if you want a specific, because you give people specific like meal plans, correct?
Yeah. So what I've done is I've made meal plans that are super simple to follow, because I'm big about simplicity.
Yes.
Simplicity is success.
Yes.
So my goal is to make people be successful in the diet. So anyways, I've simplified the ketogenic diet. You select your weight, it makes a plan for you, and it's even selectable items. I've done all the calculations, so you don't even have to monitor it. You just eat as listed. It's super simple. And you get 2 weeks of coaching from me as well included. And actually today, maybe we'll keep it live for the month, and we have a Keto Mom discount. So all your followers get 40% off. So
look at that. So how do they do that? Do they have to put that in? Is there like a promo code?
Yeah, so the promo code is Keto Mom.
Okay.
You go there in the shopping cart, type in Keto Mom, and it'll discount the price for you, and that's it.
Awesome. I love that. Well,
we'll drop that in the comments to the link.
So we'll drop My Keto Coach and the 40% off and your free ebook that gives you the 15 ways how to break a plateau. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. We're going to keep going on. So I have people that go, can you talk a little bit about what cycling keto looks like? Or like what happens if you decide to have a cheat day or a cheat meal? Do you do that? And what does that look like to try to get back into ketosis?
So I try to stay away from that, doing cheat meals and that, because anytime you label a cheat meal, people look forward to that to overindulge on that day, rather than accidentally happening if you're at a wedding, for example, or wherever it may be. But regardless, we're all humans. It's going to happen, right? We all have cravings. So if it happens, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. The point is to get back on the horse, and let's get back onto the keto diet right away. And what I tell people is, if you're going to be going somewhere, like if you know you're going to a wedding where you're going to eat some carbs or whatever, you want some help, I tell them take a Keto OS, exogenous ketone product, before going. And when they come home, if it's late, take another one, caffeine-free version, right? What you're doing is you're buffering you're buffering the carbs coming in and out.
Yeah.
Basically. So it helps a lot, and it helps you recover to get back on track very, very quickly.
Awesome.
So,
okay, this comes up a lot. I'm sure you get it, but what about the scale? So I have women that go, I feel so great, right? Like I had one specifically, and she was so sweet. She was like, well, I've lost 5 inches and I feel phenomenal, but the scale isn't moving. She was ready to give up. And I was like, you're doing so good. So walk us through why the scale might not move and why ketones, because they preserve muscle, correct?
Yeah. So one of the biggest tips I can give, because I get this a million times probably like you, people weigh themselves, first of all, too much. And this is that free book. Weigh yourself once a week, same time. And the time should be the first thing in the morning after you wake up and you're done your bathroom duties. Weigh yourself. It's your truest weight without any kind of fluctuation of salt and water. Okay. So now you have your truest weight. Now, and once a week. But the reason why the scale is not always accurate because of there's so many metabolic things that are happening in your body that you could be retaining water. You could lose water one day and you'll drop weight. So with keto, it is muscle sparring. So you don't lose muscle on a keto diet as much as other diets. So it's fantastic for any age, of male or female, in that sense. But always, if you're monitoring everything, start measuring your body. See how your clothes fit.
Yep.
If the scale's not going down, but your jeans are getting looser, hey, something's going on right here. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Awesome. Okay, so you and I we talked about the majority of the kind of the questions I usually get asked. If people have more questions, you can always post below, and if we don't see them, I'll come back and get back with you on those questions. Or we'll just do another one maybe next week of the questions that didn't get answered. So we're going to transition to why somebody like Raj, who did strict keto for a super long time, and you were getting your millimolar, so if you're checking your blood, right, pricking your finger, your ketones would be up a certain height. Like, I reached out to you a long time ago, and I said, hey, Raj, I need you to try something. And actually, I think at the time, was it just this one?
Yeah.
I said, I need you to try something, and you said, I'm not trying that. I do strict keto, and I walk people through thousands of people how to help, right? And so long story short, Raj and I had chatted over the internet, and I sent him some product to try, and he actually took this and he was going to try to debunk me. Like he was going to go, this girl looked like a fool. And so, right?
It's true. It's so true. That video's on my site, actually.
So I sent this product to you, and you were going to try to prove it wrong. Let's walk through what Keto is, and now we've got something called Keto Max. I tell people this is like a life preserver. So you can do super strict keto, or we're going to talk about a product that puts you in ketosis in under an hour. So why did you try this, and what did it do for you?
So, well, I'll tell you the reason why when you approached me over the whole month, keep asking me to try it, and I kept saying no. And then when I was going to debunk you, and then when I drank it, it actually spiked my ketones to the highest level I've ever seen. For me, the biggest thing was, and I mention this all the time, is that every time we're taking supplements, I've taken a ton of supplements, like many people watching this, it never gets in your bloodstream. You're just peeing them out. So you're wasting your money. Okay, so that's the first question is people go, it might be expensive pee. Well, there are some things out there that are, correct? Oh, correct. There's other brands, there's other products. And that's what I thought that was. Until I did the blood work, I drank it, I did the blood work, and then I did the blood work hour after, and then I did the next day. And that's how I knew within 1 hour when it spiked so high, it got into my blood and I crushed it at the gym. And then that's why I became a believer of that product, because it actually does get into your blood. And because I knew only nutritional ketosis, but anyways. It's amazing. No, I love that because you've been coaching people for so many years, right? And you saw people go in and out of ketosis. They would reach plateaus, or they just would you say they got stuck, right? Yeah. Or they just would, I don't like the word fail. They would just kind of fall back. I would say probably give up. Do you feel like most people would give up? Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's so true. So the product that Raj and I now use, and he does super strict keto. Sometimes people do keto-ish. I hear people do low carb where they don't want to go super strict keto like we've been talking about. They don't want to track all their macros, but they want to just eat better. So I tell people you can take the buns off the burgers, the croutons off the salad, lettuce wraps. There's things you can do, like get out the breads, pastas, and like the crackers and the goldfish, those things out, and you can still feel great because this bypasses the keto flu, correct? Yep. But the biggest thing that will do while you're doing that transition that you're talking about is going to give you the energy you think you're going to be missing, right? That's the thing, and the product gives you amazing carb controls. Like you don't miss the stuff you're taking out.
100%. So my story as a mom, if you're brand new, is my husband actually handed me a packet. So my husband asked me to take the product. I asked Raj to try the product. I told my husband, I don't want to take it, but I honestly was being a nice wife. And I tried it, and this rocked my world that I haven't taken a nap in over 3 years. I've never had more mental clarity, focus. It helps with skin and sleep, better mood. Like you said, appetite control has been huge with cravings. And so I think most people, and would you say this, Raj, the benefits of ketones and the keto diet, most people come to you, probably me, because they want fat loss. Would you say that's fair?
That's true. Very true.
And so, but the benefits of ketone is what we both have been able to see is well surpass what people think. Most people come after will just want some help. And they have success with fat loss, right? Whether it's super nutritional ketosis or people taking the product, but they're finding that this is changing their lives in so many ways. I mean, there's story upon story about like the appetite control, the better mood. I say it's like my mom. It's like my mommy fuel. And so my girls sometimes will say, maybe you should go drink another keto. Maybe that happened today. I'm not going to tell you. And so... First of all, if you're watching and if you want to try a 5-day experience, this is what it looks like. You can post a 5 or 10 below, and I will get with you about trying a 5 or 10 day. And the reason you want to try this is this. First of all, when Roz and I tried it, all we had was the orange.
Yeah.
So the company is called Prove It. They lead with education. And so Raj and I have actually gotten to sit with experts in this ketone space. We've gotten to learn from people who have given really their lives to studying ketones. And so it's been fun because Raj has gotten to do it for so long diet-wise, and he's gotten to join me, and we get to go learn from these experts. And what we have found is how powerful this is. You test it in your blood. You're not peeing it out, but it is water soluble. So what your body doesn't use, it will get rid of, but you're not going to overdo it. People go, well, I don't know if I can take it. And I think this is super funny. I'm just going to throw this in there. Sometimes, and you probably get this too, let me see if I can phrase it right. People won't question if they're going to go grab an energy drink, right? Or they don't question if they're going to go to grab a double Big Mac or whatever they're going to grab. But they'll go, well, I don't know if I can take that, right?
Yeah.
You get that?
Yeah, that's so true.
It's all natural. It's vegan. It's gluten-free. It's like, is there anything wonderful you could say as far as how the product is made, Raj?
Everything in that product is like, there's nothing wrong with it. That's the thing.
Right.
Like, I would never compare that to anything like you mentioned because it's day and night difference.
So it's not a meal replacement. It's not a protein shake. People go, this is replace my breakfast. What you're going to do is you're going to add this in. It's a supplement. You're going to wake up in the morning, whatever your morning looks like. You can take it before the gym. If you're an athlete, you can take it mid-morning. If you just want it to boost you through your entire day, it's going to put you in ketosis under an hour. And what you're going to do is you're going to eat the best that you can.
Yep.
Okay, which one's your favorite flavor, Raj?
Raspberry lemonade. But you know what's funny? When the orange came out, that was my favorite. Then Maui Punch came out, that was my favorite. Then Swiss Cacao came out, I couldn't stop drinking that. And so it's funny, I'm like a jump in the wagon every time. But raspberry lemonade is the latest flavor that I love right now. I've been drinking it for a while.
Okay, so real quick, if you want to try a 5 or 10 day, post 5 or 10 below. There are 2 different versions. Real quick, there's our Keto OS, which was our first one. So you'll get a couple of these and you'll get to try some of the Keto Max. This one's our patent pending formulation. So really it hits your system faster, lasts a little bit longer, has more ketones in it. My favorite that I drink every single day is this one. Comes in caffeine and
caffeine. It also has
caffeine.
branching amino acids in it too.
I love it. Yes, yes. Caffeine free. Who can take this, Raj? Who can take the product?
Anybody. Womb to tomb, we say. My kids drink it. And
my kids drink it.
Yeah, I had my parents drinking it. And it's just anybody can take it. Ketones is a natural process in your body. You're just consuming it in this product, so it's fantastic.
Oh, will it stop your body from producing its own ketones? So, if I take this for those people who are super strict, because this is what I love about this Keto Mom page. We talk about good, better, best. And I tell people, you better take off your black robe when you join this page because there's no judging people because everybody's on their own journey. And so, like I said, some people, they're stopping to going from McDonald's and they're like all they know is to grab some pepperonis and some vegetables and some string cheese. That's better than going to McDonald's, would you say?
Yeah, it is.
That's a good option. Sure. Everybody's on their own journey. But sometimes when people, like I'll have people that go, I have people that are just hounding me because I'm not doing it right, and they're telling me I can't eat this way. Like, that's not what this page is for. This page is for to get you on your own journey. If you really want to, like if you need somebody to map out your food, that's what Raj is for. Like, he can help you with that. If you want something to get your head above the water so you don't have to go and deal with the keto flu, so you can, like, this gives you the energy. This gave me the energy to go, okay, now what am I going to do? We switched our family to eating keto-ish, low carb, and it took us 8 months to do so. It wasn't an overnight switch. And we gradually took one thing at a time, one meal at a time, but we did it because of this. Like, my kids drink it, not because they're on a diet. I know your children are not on a diet, but I understand more than anything the power of ketones and the brain and the focus and just all the research that's coming out about power of ketones. I think, why would I not fuel my children the best that I can? And I know you're the same way.
Yeah, one thing we're talking about health and weight loss and things like that, but the brain benefits, the cognitive benefits of ketones is a whole nother story and a whole nother ball of amazing things. But you feel fantastic for a reason. It uptakes better, faster in your brain than carbs. So there's when you feel like that, then like sometimes you're like, I don't care about the weight loss because I feel fantastic. But
you know what? And I get that quite a bit. As the weight loss comes, and it's a journey, right? Like, don't quit too soon. Get rid of the scale, but this will give you all of the other benefits, and you will see your weight loss journey come. It's just I mean, some people lose weight. We see it really fast, specifically men. And then there's women who deal with hormones and all of these things that we have to deal with. And so everybody's different. Okay, we also have a product called Keto Cream. I didn't have the packet out, but I know you drink this every day. This is like a fat coffee in a packet. So do you want to explain this a little bit? You've got a little bit more explanation than I do. It's got some good MCTs in it.
Yeah, here's the packet here. Looks like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
How would somebody use that if they wanted to?
So what you do is, for those that, there's people out there that drink fatty coffee and they're mixing coconut oil and all that into their coffee. When I had a corporate job, bringing all that to work and blending it, it's very messy. This is taking it into you simplified the solution with this.
Yep.
You tear it open, you pour it in your coffee, you drink it. It adds, I believe it's 12 grams of healthy fats, and it's coming from coconut MCT. It gives you great and clean energy, bumps up your fats a little bit. So if, following ketogenic diet obviously helps. As a hint of coconut, it makes your coffee taste fantastic. It tastes great. It's really good.
I love that. You know what? A question that I know I get asked often, and I think you probably do too. And so there's medical questions that people ask. So we might get questions about neither of us are doctors. Like, Raj has been in this space for years and years, and so he can coach people nutritionally. And I'm not a doctor. I am a mom. We've got 4 girls. I homeschool, and this just became a passion of our families to help educate people. But if you've got questions that do medical-wise, you always go back to your doctor. There are some great resources. I know I've read the book Keto Clarity. Jimmy Moore is one of the authors. Cholesterol Clarity. A lot of people love that book. And the Ketogenic Bible. So Ryan Lowry and Dr. Jacob Wilson are some of the authors on that book. Do you have any other places that people could go to look if they've got medical questions that might help them answer some of, like, for example, is this going to hurt my heart if I eat all this fat? Do you get that one?
I do. I actually have some medical journals listed on my site too.
Oh, perfect.
I have a science section, Science of Keto, and there reference different articles, and it's broken down by weight management, cognitive function. So you can check that out.
On myketocoach.com.
Yeah.
And it says science?
Yeah, I believe it says Keto Science at the top.
Okay. That is great because I get medical questions all the time. And I've got different tools and resources for you as well. But those are the things that you have to just go and research. And it's always best to talk to your doctor also. So, and if you don't like your doctor's answer, then just get another doctor and ask him.
So the thing with doctors too is they don't have nutritional education, right? They're your family doctor. So if you do want to get real answers, I would go to a nutritionist.
Okay, good to know. So there's coconut oil. We talk about how the power of coconut oil, and just eating coconut oil by itself. You can use it to cook with. You can use it for dressings. That's a really, really good high fat. There's a product called 143. Isn't this one of your favorite products? Yeah,
I love that. So glad it came out finally.
It's finally available. So if you go to ketomom.com, like if you wanted a 5 or 10 day experience, post a 5 or 10 below. That's going to come straight from, I'll just mail it to you and we'll talk about that. But this is if you go to ketomom.com, you can check out what 143 is. But can you explain this real quick?
Yeah. So basically the way I simplify that's the supercharged MCT.
Okay.
So that MCT has abundance of lauric acid in it, where typical
What's
MCT.
lauric acid?
So lauric acid is really great for your brain.
Okay.
This is all about cognitive function improvement
Right.
and helping with your body making its own ketones.
Okay.
And you get fantastic energy from it. So because that's what you get from MCT.
So people say if they weren't going to take this one, which just comes in little packets, you can squirt it in your coffee as well. People use this in their coffee. They use it for dressing. My husband puts it on his eggs. My kids actually just drink this?
Yeah, I just drink it right out of the pack. That one there, I found. Sorry, I was gonna say that has a very almost no taste to it, so you can just drink it.
That's what people ask me. What's the difference between MCT oil and coconut oil? Like the thick jar. Like I have a big jar from Costco of coconut oil, and then I've got MCT oil. I have this one, and I have another one. I just look for 100% MCT oil if you're going to get it in like a big tub. But what's the difference? So
MCT is in coconut oil. So coconut oil has other properties in it. MCT is in medium chain triglyceride, which is part of coconut oil. Basically, what they've done, they've extracted the good stuff out of coconut oil and made a separate product. So that's why.
Okay, so is there one better than the other? Like, is it better to eat the big chunk? Sometimes I'll take a spoonful and it tastes like.
Well, it's only better if depending what you want. Like for full cooking, you can use MCT or you can use coconut oil. You know, if you're looking for instant energy without the coconut taste, you go for MCT.
MCT oil because it's flavorless.
Yeah.
And some people don't like coconut. Okay, Raj, walk me through. I've got a couple other random questions and then I'll let you go. Right. Do you eat desserts? Like, what are some of your favorite desserts? Do you use Pinterest? Where do you find your recipes? I'll tell people where I find mine, but do you have a favorite dessert? Or how do you cure your sweet craving? Although this helps with our cravings, but if you had to have something sweet, what would you eat?
So it's funny because on my site I have recipes.
Okay.
But actually, I hate to cook, which is why I made the simplified ketogenic diet plan. My wife likes to cook, so she's actually the keto cook.
Okay.
On the site, I actually put her name there, but so she uses Pinterest a lot. Pinterest has a amazing amount of keto desserts. My favorite is fat bombs because fat bombs come in so many variety. You can never get bored, and they're so convenient. Because again, I'm about convenience, and I love fat bombs, and I like. I have one that I use as chocolate. It's a chocolate peanut butter bomb, and it's fantastic.
Oh, so I have lots of women that go, but how many fat bombs can I eat? So the point of a fat bomb is you keep them in your freezer. So if you need something sweet or to get your good fats up, right? Not to eat the entire tray of frozen fat bombs.
No. No.
And people question, the biggest question I get even with keto or low carb, if we're talking about food, is we've talked about the meats, like the nitrate meats. I tell people that would be good to have meat. Better is no nitrate free, right? Best is to have your own cow in the backyard. I mean, And so, but peanuts, people wonder about peanuts because sometimes we talk about peanuts and they've got other stuff that goes with it, but like peanut butter. So do you eat peanut butter, and where would you recommend people having a different type of butter? Or is that okay?
Yeah, almond butter is good. All natural. I use all natural peanut butter sometimes as well. Basically, you want to stay away from the one that has sugar in it.
Okay.
Right? Look at the label. It should just say just peanuts. That's it.
Hey, what about dressings? Do you make your own dressing?
I don't. I buy. If I'm dressing, but if you ever use dressing, make sure it's full fat, or if you make it at home, right? Okay. But yeah, I don't make it. Do you make it?
Well, no. So I posted a really great recipe the other day, and then I had this sweet lady reach out to me, and she said, in a different group, they scolded your picture because you had this. I had this specific dressing, and it was the best that I could find at the store. So it was in cold food section. I rarely can find anything that's already made that does not have soybean oil in it. But it says non-GMO, right? So like I tell people, there are things to look for, but if you're going to buy it already made, it's probably going to it's not going to be perfect. Correct? Yeah. So if I'm eating a Caesar dressing, the best that I can find with no sugar and carbs, like less than 1 gram, but it might have non-GMO soybean oil. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Again, if you're not eating it every day, it's not bad.
Right.
Right. And
what if I'm eating it every day?
Well, because it's just like everything in small, like it's not good for you on larger scale,
right?
But you're having it once in a while, it's not going to impact you.
Well, and I'm not eating the entire can, so I really stress here, Raj, and I know that you've been doing the same thing. As like, we don't mess up good for perfect. So if you're on a journey, your goal is to eat better, and then when you get comfortable with that, then you keep working. So like, It's meal after meal, one thing after another. The biggest thing for our family was we had to get out the goldfish. And when I stopped buying the goldfish, I know it sounds crazy. I haven't bought it in 3 years. My kids only get it sometimes at church. But like, it's one of those things. So let's ask that. Out to eat. And then we'll end, I promise. When you go out to eat, do you have a hard time eating keto or low carb, or how do you do that?
Oh, it's super easy. When people tell me that it's hard to eat when you go out, you go to a restaurant, you can have Caesar salad. I know, Steph, you love Caesar salads, right? Mm-hmm. Right. You can get extra bacon on there or whatever you want, right? No croutons. I'll get a steak with avocado or steak with asparagus. I ask for extra butter on the side, right? It's fantastic. It's filling, fully keto, and it's perfect.
That's why I tell people, I said, that's the whole good, better, and best. If you're not making it home, then it's probably not the 100% best option, but you're having somebody make your meals for you. So you order it. So I just did that. We just went out to eat, and I always get a Caesar salad, no croutons, bacon, eggs, avocado, all on it. And it is so good. My favorite.
Always just ask. People are afraid of asking. Just ask. You never know.
Right.
You're not the only person, I'm sure, that asked to, take out the starch and add some veggies. Oh. So just ask.
So I ordered a salad tonight, and I pretty much redid the entire thing. She was like, okay.
That's a new menu item.
I mean, that's what they're there for. They're there to take your order. Okay, Raj, I super appreciate everything. So let's recap one really quick. MyKetoCoach.com, people can go look at science. They can go look at your recipes. They can go look for your specific meal plans, which I think a lot of people help. And the promo code will be Keto Mom. Right?
Correct. Yep, that's correct. And then the 15th.
Why was it trying to tell me a question? Hold on. What do you want me to
okay.
Oh, so I think we covered this, but I guess one of the questions in the chats is if people get frustrated or we reach a stall, right? So we talk about, I'll tell you this. I mean, Raj talked about a lot of people get frustrated or there's a stall. We talk about getting rid of the dairy. We talked about the nuts. You know what we didn't cover, and I was just going to hang up really quick, is the reboot. So people talk about fasting, but you and I just got done with this. Tell me why you did this and what it did for you.
So I do intermittent fasting through nutrition.
Yep.
With that product, reason why I love that product, now anybody can do fasting, because the biggest question in fasting is, how do I do it?
Yes.
Right? And the first fear that comes in your mind is that I can't do it. That product there, everything's timed out. It tells you when to take it and the reason why you're taking it. It has a Facebook group that you join, that you have a support group, and on the hour they're posting, what to do and what you're going to expect. And the products taste great. Like, that's the thing. The bone broth in there, it tastes amazing. And every product that's in there is simple but effective for a purpose.
100%. So if you're just watching this in brand new and you haven't seen either of our stories, we both went through this a few days ago. And so it's got the Keto Max in it, and it's got there's a keto bone broth. They've got keto tea that you take in the evenings, and these signalized pills that help with DNA repair. It actually lengthens your telomeres. So I had no idea that I even had a telomere before I learned all about this, but it helps with the aging process, right? And so it helps with skin, it helps with their DNA, it helps with longevity, which is crazy. So this is not available all the time. It will be available. If you go to ketomom.com, it'll be available at the beginning of the month. So at the beginning of every month, they're going to launch this. And then it's only going to be available for a certain time, because you can take it, and it's an entire group of people. We did it with thousands of people, all on a private Facebook group. And it was so fun because everybody had those questions. Like, it helped people get past the plateau or the stall. Because like you say, Raj, sometimes people eat way too much dairy, and they just need to be able to get that out, right? And then distinguish between, like, I tell people, this helped me to distinguish between true hunger and like eating out of habit. Maybe moms that might eat the leftovers kids' food, or like emotional eating, right? Or, oh, I'm at the movie theater, I need some popcorn, but you really don't need it. Yeah. And so I thought it was powerful.
Some of the biggest feedback I got about that product, even like not from myself or from others, is that they didn't realize that they could go without food for that long.
Yeah.
Because of this, and how fantastic they did feel.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I can't believe I feel so good. And what that leads to is going into either doing fasting nutritionally, and now they're in their deep ketosis, right? Mm-hmm. So they're in fat burning mode and they feel fantastic. It's the best trajectory to start off anything when you're going into that kind of.
It mentally got you ready to go. It's kind of like I'm drawing a line in the sand. Like, I'm taking my health journey to a whole new level. And you're 100% right. Like my kids were like, mom's going to get hangry. Don't let her do that. I was like, girls, I've got this. But when your body makes that switch and it's using ketones for fuel, you feel phenomenal. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, I don't have to have food control me like people feel. Like the control that food has over people is crazy. So it really just helps with all of that. I love it. Well, Raj, I truly appreciate you. If you have more questions, post those below. We will get back to you on those. Go to myketocoach.com if you want your own meal plan, right?
Yep. I'm gonna help you.
And yes, and Raj will help you. If you want a 5-day experience, post a 5 below. I will get back to you on this. Anything else, Raj, you can think of?
No, just make sure, if you guys haven't tried those products that Steph was mentioning, try it out. I was a disbeliever, and I wish I wasn't. Try the 5-day sample pack, and you know, have your own experience with it.
I 100% agree. Okay, I appreciate you, Raj. We'll do this again soon, and thank you so much for coming on.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Talk to you later.
Okay, see ya.
Babe, come here. Steve, I need your help. Did I just press end live broadcast again?